The story shifts back in time, showing Tanjiro carrying a basket of charcoal through the snow. His mother worries about the danger of traveling in heavy snow, telling him it's fine if he doesn't go. She notices his face is covered in soot and asks him to come closer. Smiling warmly, she thanks him, while Tanjiro explains he only plans to sell a little charcoal. He adds that since the new year is near, everyone wants food to celebrate, so he must go. The younger siblings excitedly ask if they can join Tanjiro on his trip to the village. Their mother explains they can't go since he won't be pulling the cart today. She adds that they also can't keep up with Tanjiro's pace in the snow. The children plead, but their mother firmly refuses. Tanjiro sighs, saying he thought they could all do it together. Instead, he asks Takeo to help out at home by chopping some wood. Tanjiro heads out, while his siblings call after him to be careful. They also ask him to return quickly. Carrying the baby, Nezuko tells Tanjiro she just put Rokuta to sleep. She smiles and calls out to her brother. Tanjiro reminds her to take care, while she admits everyone clings to him. She gently adds that it's only because their father passed away, and the little one feels lonely. Tanjiro walks through the snowy path, reflecting on how life keeps changing. He compares life to the sky, sometimes clear, sometimes clouded. He believes life isn't easy, but it is still a blessing. He notes that just as snow doesn't last forever, happiness also fades. Among it all, he feels the lingering scent of blood. Arriving at the village, a familiar face greets him warmly. The village, people greet Tanjiro warmly, thanking him for past help and asking to buy charcoal. Another villager hurries over, relieved to see him. The man begs Tanjiro to help solve who broke his dishes, asking him to smell them for clues. Tanjiro carefully leans in to sniff. He concentrates, using his sharp sense of smell to examine the pieces. Villagers call out to Tanjiro, asking for help with luggage, while one man insists he isn't guilty. Tanjiro identifies the smell as a cat, proving the man's innocence. As evening falls, Tanjiro begins his walk back, noticing it's getting late. The sky darkens as night approaches. A villager warns him not to return to the mountain because it's dangerous. Another man asks if he's really heading back despite the risk. Tanjiro insists his sharp sense of smell will keep him safe, but the villager cuts him off. The man urges him to turn back and stay the night at his place. He warns that if Tanjiro continues, something terrible might appear. With a serious look, he reveals that demons come out after dark. He explains humans have long been attacked by Oni at night. To avoid danger, he advises Tanjiro to rest there and return home in the morning. Tanjiro asks if demons can enter houses, and the man replies that they can. The man explains that for generations, spirit hunters have fought and killed the Oni. Lying in bed, Tanjiro worries that if demons appear, everyone might be eaten. He tries to reassure himself, saying it's okay because demons aren't real. Drifting to sleep, he thinks of bringing his siblings next time and reflects on the old man's loneliness after losing his family. Tanjiro recalls how his grandmother once said the same words before she passed away. Her words echo that happiness never lasts forever. He remembers the lingering scent of blood tied to such moments. Breathless and shocked, Tanjiro suddenly stops. On the snowy ground ahead, he sees bodies lying still. He approaches slowly, realizing something terrible has happened at his home. Tanjiro's eyes widen in shock at the horrifying sight. He sees his family lying lifeless in the snow, covered in blood. Panicked, he rushes toward them as fast as he can. Dropping to his knees, he desperately tries to make sense of the scene. Trembling, he asks what happened and how this tragedy occurred. Crying, he clutches his siblings' bodies, unable to comprehend the devastation before him. Tanjiro enters the house and finds the room soaked in blood, his family slaughtered inside. His face turns pale, trembling as he stares in disbelief. He desperately calls out Nezuko's name, then Takeo and Shijiro. Finally, he cries out for his mother, Hanako, and little Rokuta. Tanjiro carries Nezuko through the snow, desperate to save her life. He notices she still has warmth in her body, giving him hope. He thinks if he can get her to a doctor quickly, she might survive. Through tears, he wonders how such a tragedy could have happened, questioning if it was caused by a wild bear. Tanjiro pushes forward through the snow, forcing his legs to move faster. The frozen air burns his lungs, making it painful to breathe. He keeps going, vowing he'll save Nezuko no matter what. He refuses to let her die, even as exhaustion weighs him down. Still far from the village, he tells himself he must go faster. Holding Nezuko close, he assures her that her big brother will definitely save her. Nezuko suddenly screams in pain, her voice echoing through the forest. Startled, Tanjiro's foot slips on the snowy ground. He gasps in shock, realizing something is wrong. Losing his balance, he stumbles while carrying Nezuko. He falls forward, shouting in panic that he slipped. Tanjiro crashes into the snow, relieved that he landed safely. He sighs in relief, realizing the snow cushioned his fall. But as he looks up, he freezes in shock. Nezuko rises unsteadily to her feet. Tanjiro shouts her name in panic. She stands before him, her presence carrying an ominous feeling. Tanjiro rushes toward Nezuko, asking if she's okay. He offers to carry her to the village so she doesn't have to walk. But Nezuko suddenly snarls, her face twisting with rage. Tanjiro calls out her name in shock, realizing something is wrong. In a terrifying moment, Nezuko lunges at him, pinning him down as both of them scream. Tanjiro struggles as Nezuko forces him to the ground in the snow. Her teeth gnash as she tries to bite him, her face consumed by rage. Saburoji's warning about demons resurfaces in Tanjiro's mind. He realizes Nezuko has become an oni, a human-eating demon. Yet, memories of her smile and kindness remind him of the truth. He rejects the thought, declaring Nezuko is human, and has always been since the day she was born. Tanjiro realizes the scent around Nezuko feels different from her usual self. He notices her mouth and hands are clean, with no trace of blood. This makes him certain Nezuko didn't kill their family. He recalls how she always protected Rokuda, even when alive. As Nezuko presses down on him, Tanjiro's sharp sense of smell detects something else nearby. Another distinct scent lingers in the air, hinting at the true culprit. Tanjiro struggles as Nezuko's body suddenly grows larger, her strength increasing. He's thrown to the ground, grunting in pain. Tears fill his eyes as he thinks of the cruel fate his family suffered while he was safe in another house. Nezuko, now overwhelmed by demonic power, still presses down on him. Tanjiro desperately calls her name, hoping to reach her. He apologizes in his heart, mourning his family's pain, and wishes he could have saved them. Tears streaming down his face, Tanjiro pleads with Nezuko to fight against her transformation into an oni. He urges her to hold on and resist the demonic urges consuming her. Nezuko clenches the bamboo in her mouth, struggling to control herself. Tanjiro cries out that she can do it, believing in her strength. In the snow, the two collapse together, clinging tightly to each other. Tanjiro bites the bamboo himself, determined to endure and protect Nezuko, no matter what. Suddenly, Jiyu Tomioka appears, standing tall with his blade aimed at Nezuko. His sharp eyes widen as he observes the situation closely. Nezuko struggles, still holding the bamboo between her teeth. Tanjiro clutches her protectively, looking up at Jiyu in shock and fear. Jiyu swiftly strikes, knocking Nezuko back into the snow. He moves with precision, blade ready in his hand. Tanjiro rushes forward, shielding Nezuko as she stumbles. Jiyu's sharp gaze fixes on them, while Tanjiro wonders who this stranger is. Tanjiro stares in shock, realizing Jiyu carries a katana. Jiyu Tomioka stands firm in the snow, his presence calm yet intimidating. The blade gleams with engraved words meant for slaying demons. He looks at Tanjiro and demands to know why he protected Nezuko. Nezuko screams uncontrollably, her demonic side taking over. Tanjiro shouts desperately, insisting she's his younger sister. Jiyu Tomioka coldly asks if that creature is really his sister. Tanjiro clings to Nezuko tightly, refusing to let go. He quickly drops down, shielding her from danger. Jiyu steps closer, while Tanjiro looks at Nezuko with determination, still protecting her. Tanjiro scrambles across the snow, determined to protect Nezuko. He looks up with urgency, trying to act quickly. Nezuko snarls fiercely, her demon side fully unleashed. Jiyu Tomioka holds her back with ease, keeping her restrained. Tanjiro cries out Nezuko's name, desperate to reach her. Tanjiro freezes as Jiyu orders him not to move. With his blade drawn, Jiyu Tomioka declares his duty is to kill demons. Tanjiro pleads desperately, insisting Nezuko hasn't harmed anyone. Jiyu coldly states he intends to decapitate her. Tanjiro protests, saying the one who killed his family left behind a different scent. He's certain another demon was responsible for the massacre. Jiyu Tomioka explains that if only blood enters a wound, a human can turn into a demon. Tanjiro insists Nezuko is different, though he doesn't understand why she's acting like this. Jiyu Tomioka coldly states this is how man-eating demons multiply. Tanjiro yells back, saying that's not true in Nezuko's case. Jiyu counters, saying she looked ready to devour him. Tanjiro desperately shouts that Nezuko hasn't eaten anyone. Tanjiro vows he will cure Nezuko and never let her harm anyone. He pleads desperately, saying he will search for a way to turn her back into a human. Jiyu Tomioka coldly insists there is no cure for an Oni. Tanjiro refuses to give up, begging him not to kill her. He promises to take care of everything, including finding the demon who slaughtered his family. Tanjiro remembers that everything else has already been taken from him. With tears in his eyes, he cries out, begging Jiyu to stop. Falling to his knees, he pleads desperately, asking him not to kill Nezuko no matter what. Bowing low to the ground, Tanjiro repeats his plea, begging for his sister's life. Jiyu Tomioka yells that Tanjiro has no authority over life and death. He scolds him harshly, saying if he keeps acting weak, more tragedies will follow. Pointing sharply, Jiyu Tomioka orders Tanjiro to stop bowing in such a pitiful way. Tanjiro trembles, stunned by his fierce words. Tanjiro sits in the snow as Jiyu questions his resolve to cure Nezuko or find the demon responsible. He declares that Tanjiro was too weak to prevent tragedy, and now his hopes are meaningless. Calling it ridiculous, he insists Tanjiro has no power to demand such things. Jiyu Tomioka admits perhaps some demons might know a cure, but doubts they would respect Tanjiro's will. He explains that the weak have no choices, while the strong dominate and make others surrender. Jiyu scolds Tanjiro, saying he was easily overpowered by his own sister. Tanjiro pants heavily, realizing the harsh truth of his weakness. Jiyu Tomioka presses further, asking why Tanjiro didn't swing his axe or fight back. With his blade pointed, he demands to know why Tanjiro turned his back in the middle of danger. Struggling to breathe, Tanjiro can't find an answer. Jiyu coldly asks if he should kill Nezuko right in front of him. Tanjiro listens as Jiyu Tomioka acknowledges his pain, reminding him that his family was slaughtered and his sister turned into a demon. He tells Tanjiro not to cry or despair, even if he feels like shouting. Jiyu reflects that if he had arrived sooner, Tanjiro's family might still be alive, but time cannot be reversed. He urges Tanjiro to turn his suffering into unshakable determination, fueled by strong and pure anger. He tells him to never forget that this tragedy is unforgivable, and to let that fury drive him forward. Jiyu Tomioka declares that weak resolve will never save Nezuko or defeat the demon who killed Tanjiro's family. He raises his blade, ready to strike Nezuko down. Tanjiro cries out in desperation, begging him to stop. With a swift motion, Jiyu slashes downward as Nezuko screams. Tanjiro clenches his fist, shouting with all his strength for Jiyu to stop. With desperation, he hurls himself forward, refusing to stand by. He flings an object straight at Jiyu Tomioka. Jiyu notices it flying toward him, his expression calm yet alert. The object Tanjiro threw flies directly toward Jiyu. Without flinching, Jiyu Tomioka catches it effortlessly in his hand. Meanwhile, Tanjiro charges at him from the front, gripping his axe tightly, ready to attack. Tanjiro hides behind a tree, sweat dripping as he prepares for his move. With a loud cry, he launches himself forward, axe raised high. But Jiyu stays calm, easily restraining Nezuko while remaining fully aware of Tanjiro's attack. Jiyu Tomioka calls Tanjiro a fool as he rushes in recklessly. Tanjiro charges with pure emotion, swinging desperately in a wild attack. Jiyu effortlessly stops him, pinning Tanjiro down with his sword hilt pressed firmly against his face. Jiyu Tomioka easily overpowers Tanjiro, slamming him into the snow. Despite the pain, Tanjiro grins faintly, showing he hasn't given up. Jiyu Tomioka suddenly notices something unusual and looks shocked. He realizes Tanjiro's axe is missing from his hand. Pinned to the ground, Tanjiro lies still, his plan silently unfolding. High above, Tanjiro's axe spins through the air, aimed directly at Jiyu. He notices it just in time, his sharp eyes tracking the weapon. Tanjiro, still pinned to the ground, lies exhausted but determined. Having set the trap with his last bit of strength, Jiyu Tomioka looks up, shocked, as the axe nearly strikes him from above. He realizes Tanjiro had set a trap, throwing a rock to distract him. Hidden by the tree, Tanjiro had secretly flung the axe into the air. Now the weapon falls dangerously close, proving Tanjiro's cleverness despite his desperation. Jiyu reflects on Tanjiro's desperate tactic, realizing he tried to take him down even at the cost of his own life. Tanjiro had hidden his lack of weapons with a charging stance, showing determination despite knowing he couldn't win. On the ground, Tanjiro struggles for breath, while Jiyu Tomioka silently acknowledges him. Just then, Nezuko suddenly leaps in, kicking Jiyu back with surprising force. Jiyu Tomioka rushes forward in panic, realizing Tanjiro is defenseless on the ground. Nezuko approaches her unconscious brother, her hand slowly reaching for him. Jiyu fears the worst, thinking Tanjiro is about to be eaten. But as he watches closely, Nezuko's expression tells a different story, leaving him stunned. Nezuko shields Tanjiro, her fierce stance showing she has no intention of eating humans. Jiyu Tomioka realizes she is different from other demons. Yet he recalls past experiences, remembering a man who once claimed something similar but was later devoured. Despite his doubts, Nezuko rushes forward, protecting her brother with determination. Jiyu reflects that starving demons usually attack even their own families to survive. Since transforming consumes immense stamina, he notices Nezuko's wound and thinks she should be desperate for human flesh. Yet instead of attacking, she fiercely protects Tanjiro. Her defensive stance feels more like a warning to him rather than a threat, proving her will is different from ordinary demons. Jiyu Tomioka watches Nezuko rush to shield her brother, realizing there might be something different about her compared to other demons. Nezuko's expression shows fierce determination as she protects Tanjiro. The scene highlights her protective stance, standing between Tanjiro and danger. Instead of attacking him, Tanjiro sees a vision of his late family, their faces filled with sorrow as they watch over him. His mother's gentle voice echoes in his mind, apologizing for leaving him behind and asking him to take care of Nezuko. With renewed determination, Tanjiro clenches his fist tightly. Refusing to give up, Tanjiro gently covers Nezuko with his cloak, lying down beside her to keep her warm in the snow. Nezuko, with a bamboo muzzle now in her mouth, rests peacefully. Exhausted but relieved, Tanjiro lies next to her, breathing heavily, his determination stronger than ever. Tanjiro holds Nezuko close, startled as he hears a voice. Standing calmly against the trees, Jiyu Tomioka asks Tanjiro if he is awake. Jiyu instructs him to visit an elder named Urokodaki Sakunji, who lives at the foot of the Misty Mountain, and tells him to mention that he was sent by Tomioka Jiyu before leaving. Jiyu warns Tanjiro not to let his sister out under the sun. He adds that since the light isn't increasing, she should be safe for now. Tanjiro carries Nezuko towards shelter, holding her tightly in silence, determined to protect her no matter what. Later, Tanjiro and Nezuko kneel in front of the graves of their family, offering a silent farewell. Both lower their heads in prayer, honoring the ones they lost. With their hands clasped together, Tanjiro softly says, "Let's go," as they turn toward an uncertain future, united in determination. Tanjiro looks back one last time at the graves of his family, snow quietly covering the ground. With Nezuko by his side, the siblings run forward into the snowy forest. The narration closes. They go without stopping. With resolution in his heart, the young boy runs.